self-care for your marriage is equally as important, if not more.
Working together, I think we fell victims of that, of like, oh, well, we spend every day together now.
But it's really about just spending that quality time together and having some amazing conversations.
That we've had to get creative with what we do for date nights. Hey Palmr fam, I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Nick.
And welcome back to another episode of the Urge and Lows with Palmr, where we talk about lifestyle and type 1 diabetes.
Here, we believe in embracing self-care through life's challenges. All right, so today is going to be a little bit of a different type of episode for us. We're going to have some fun. And so we're going to be talking about date night. So with Palmr and this podcast, self-care is such an important part of what we do and what we promote. But you also need self-care for your marriage at the end of the day. And we were just talking about the other day how we have not been doing a very good job when it comes to date night.
No.
I'm going to take responsibility for that, saying that is my fault. We've been busy. There's a lot of things going on. We don't really have a house currently
We're
to
not
live
living in our
in.
house right now.
So,
yeah.
But these are all excuses at the end of the day.
Yes, it is.
And that falls on me as being the man, that I need to be the one initiating these date nights and making sure it is a priority for our relationship. Because when date nights go, a lot of other things go in your marriage, and you can't have that, especially when there are kids involved and everything else.
And I think too, like, our date nights are going to look different than, other people. Like, it's not going to look the same, because in our situation, we're a blended family, so we have the kids 50% of the time. So when we have the kids, we really don't plan any date nights or anything during that time, because all of our time is spent with the kids and doing something with the kids. If there's an event that's going on that happens to fall on one of the days that we do have the kids, it's a production. Like, there's no other way to talk about, like, to say it. It's a production to find out who's going to watch the kids, who are they going to be around, who's going to be watching them, do they know about type 1 diabetes, like, are we going to be able to enjoy ourselves when we go to this event, or is it just going to be basically like double the work for us because we're going to have to be on our phones all the time? I think that we've had to get creative with what we do for date nights, when we do our date nights, really take advantage of the weeks that we don't have kids. But at the same time, with us growing this business of Palmr and owning businesses, like, when we don't have the kids, it's a lot of extra time that we have. And we lately have been putting all of that into our businesses and trying to grow that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a balance that we've had to find.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's what I was going to say, is that where we have really, I think, dropped the ball with our date nights is the fact that we know we don't have the kids on certain weeks. This is one of them. And so we try to cram in all the additional things that we're trying to do with work and Palmr and this podcast and all that. We pretty much only record the podcast on the weeks that we don't have the kids, so it's not taking away from them.
Yeah, but also, like, when we're filming our podcasts, our phones are on Do Not Disturb and stuff like that. So it's like we can't do that when we have the kids. Even when the kids are at school, we can't put our phones on Do Not Disturb, because what happens, the school nurse has to be reaching out to us. So it's really these episodes that we do have to be filmed on weeks that we don't have the kids. And it's just finding that balance of, there's so much to do, but also we have to remember we still have a relationship we need to cater to as well.
Mhm. And the last thing before we get into them is that because we work together, we're with each other all the time.
All the time.
We think that we're like, oh, well, we're always together, right? That's fine. It's like, no, the problem is you have to actually say, no, this is date night time. And we need to put work aside. We're not going to talk about work, and we're going to spend quality time together. But I think there's a lot of times where for the average couple, they each have a job, or maybe one of them staying home watching the kids, but the other one is out working. So they spend most of the day apart, and then they come together in the evenings to either take care of their family or go on a date night, where we spend a lot more time together than the average couple.
Mm-hmm.
But just because that's the case, that doesn't mean we need to be forgetting about the importance of date night.
Yeah, and I think when we first started Palmr and we first started working together, I think we fell victims of that of like, oh, well, we spend every day together now, like, but it's like it's not the same quality time that's being spent when you're working versus going on a date night with your spouse.
Exactly. So let's kind of jump into it. We're going to talk about our 5 favorite date nights, and they're all very different.
Mhm.
There's different themes to them, but this is kind of how we roll. That doesn't mean we don't do anything outside of these 5, but these are the 5 ones that we most likely do in some way.
Mhm.
And it's nice because there's some that are spending money, there's some that they're spending no money or almost no money, and they're kind of all over the place. So let's jump in with number 1. This is the stay at home date night, staying in. And I know for us, there are a lot of times where we're just exhausted.
Mhm.
We don't necessarily want to go get ready, go out, deal with other people. We just want to stay home. And there's a great way you can do it and actually make it a date night, which starts with 1, you need to say, "By the way, we're having date night." You need to acknowledge that this is gonna be something different, and then actually try to make it different than your average staying at home.
Yeah, and I feel like we have our therapist to thank for this because I think going into it of our relationship, like we didn't really necessarily consider staying in a date night because it's like, okay, well, it's just we're staying in the house. But she really opened our eyes to no, making the conscious effort of, like you just mentioned, titling it as this is a date night. This is our date night. So that does not mean that after we go eat dinner, we're going to hop back on our laptops and start working again. Like, no, we are going to make a conscious effort to be present and spend time with each other at home. And I think something else, and this kind of came all about with our therapist because there were so many days, like, after the kids go back to their mom's house and we have, like, our free week that, Nick really wanted Mondays to be date night. Like, it's our first night that we don't have the kids, let's have a date night. And then I kept, like, pushing myself to it, but finally I had to be, like, honest to Nick and be like, "Hey, like, I'm coming down of just having, like, a week full of a lot going on, like, I don't feel like going out for date night, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that I feel like doing or even have the energy to do it. And just being honest with yourself of like, what are you up to? Like, it's okay to not be up to getting dressed up and doing your hair and doing all that stuff. And it's okay of telling your partner, like, hey, I would love for us to stay in, but that making sure that when you are staying in, there's a lot of distractions. So it's like, no, you're not gonna get on your laptop, you're not gonna be on your phone the whole time, like, we are going to be doing things together at home.
Exactly. And there's a lot of different things you can do, right? You can like cook and make meals together, or you can just order out food in general. But it is right, you said, it's all about coming together. And so I know one of the things that we love to do is honestly, we just hop in bed and we watch movies or TV shows and we just cuddle up with each other and just it's all focused on that. Nobody's on their phone, nobody's on their laptop. We are focused on each other, cuddling while we watch that show. Moving on, number 2 on our list is dinner and drinks. And classic, but it works.
My
And
personal fave.
it's probably the one that we do most often, right? We
Yeah,
love going out, getting dressed, and going to one of our favorite restaurants.
yeah,
And there's a lot of great, especially where we live, there's a lot of great places to eat. We have things from your very basic, more casual to, more of a nicer, fancier dinner, right? But the whole point is that you are getting out together and going to do something you love, which is eat food and have a drink.
yeah. Because 'cause we're definitely 2 foodie people, we love to do that, we enjoy it, and then we enjoy trying new foods and new restaurants and new drinks, and it's just a fun time, and I just personally have always liked that because I know that before I became a stepmom and everything, that was a lot of what I used to do with girlfriends, and we would go out to dinner, like, on the weekends and grab drinks and catch up. So it's been something that I find myself not doing as often with my girlfriends, just when we have the kids and everything like that. So I really do love that it still can be a part of my life, and it's something that I haven't just given away just because I became a stepmom.
Definitely. What is your favorite restaurant for us to go to right now?
Let's see. I feel like we have, like, our usual in our rotation, but I'm just gonna say I love going to Morton's, which is by our house. I love sitting at the bar. We go there pretty often, so we know the bartenders, we know the servers, and it's just easy, and we always know we're gonna have a good meal, and it's gonna be what we are paying for, so I love that.
Yeah, I love it. I think behind that for me, it is Domu. I just love going and getting some ramen and enjoying some good drinks at Domu.
Mhm.
I think it would be fun to share our worst dinner and drinks night for multiple reasons, and it just happened to be on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Our very first
Oh,
Valentine's
yes,
Day.
we have, and I believe we did talk about this once before on the podcast, but we're gonna share it again.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be fun that we had the kids that day, but we wanted to still celebrate Valentine's Day, and it was, I believe, your idea. You're like, "Hey, well, let's all go out and have the 4 of us do Valentine's Day together." But we wanted to make something that was kind of more kid-friendly. We were kinda waiting the last second, so it's hard to go find a place that was more busy, I guess,
Or
right?
that had availability for us to come in
Exactly,
on
we waited
Valentine's
at
Day.
the very last second to do this, and so we were like, "Well, we can get reservations at Planet Hollywood at Disney. That would be fun, right?"
I just wanna say, say because you always like to remind that it was my idea to say, "Let's all 4 go to this date night for Valentine's Day." Yes, that was initially my plan, and the reason why I said that was because it's our first Valentine's Day, so let's go ahead and celebrate it. The Planet Hollywood was not my idea. Not my idea.
No, that was completely mine, and
And if anybody knows me, I'm born and raised in Orlando, Florida. I've lived here my entire life, like, went to college here, like, have never left. If I can avoid any area of town that's touristy, near Disney, anything to having to do with any theme park, I'm the girl to avoid it. I do not do it. Like, I can count on both my hands how many times I have been to the theme parks and to Disney and all of that. And then I end up marrying this guy that loves to do all that. So definitely my times has increased since being married to him. But if I can avoid going anywhere that's going to be touristy, like I will do it in a heartbeat.
yeah, so to wrap up the story, we're not going into too much details. First off, the food was horrible. The service was horrible.
The service was slow because,
Yes.
yes, it was Valentine's Day, but on top of it being slow, it was just not like, the service was bad too. There was no, like, customer service going on, and we were very honest and upfront of, "Hey, we have 2 kids with type 1 diabetes, and they're going low because it's past their dinner time, like, we need to have, like let's get juices right away, like, let's get something to the table," like, even to get our drinks was 25 minutes, and even after us saying, like, "Hey, we need they're dropping, we need to get them their levels up," which, yes, we have fruit snacks, we have Gatorade, but at that time, if you're a caregiver, you're a parent to a type 1 diabetic, you know that if you go that far off the timeline of dinner time, you're not the numbers just start tanking, and there's really no Gatorade or fruit snack that can really help to stabilize them and keep them stabilized for a long period of time.
So moving on to number 3. This is going to be, friends coming over for a game night. And it doesn't always have to be a game night, but it could also be kind of a double date or whatever, just kinda hang out with some other people where it is important that you have some one-on-one time. There's nothing wrong having another couple come over every once in a while and do a double date, and a great way to do that is through games, like board games.
Yeah, and with that, I know Nick has we've mentioned before, Nick loves his games. I'm not really a game person, but I do enjoy playing some games with him, especially if it's a date night or a double date night. Like, I do enjoy that. But I am just so excited for our house to be done and not under complete construction so that we can host people again.
Mhm.
Like, I have missed that so much because we don't have anyone come over, like,
No.
why do we wanna show our house like this? Like, it's a lot going on, like, we don't have furniture in every room, like, it's just not somewhere feasible to host people, so I'm so excited to start hosting people again at our house.
Yeah, like, and one of the things we used to do is, I love making pizza. I am a, we'll say, a pizza maker
Mm.
by heart. It's just a fun little passion project for me, and, Yeah, I love to, like, have some friends come over. I'll make pizza for everybody, and we'll just play a game, and yes, the games are typically more simple, more party games, something to make you laugh or whatever, but it's always a simple, good time that, again, doesn't really cost you much money at all.
Yep.
Awesome. Moving on to number 4. This is something I absolutely love, and a lot of people probably won't even see it as being a date night, but to us, it totally is, which is going on walks together.
This I know I said going out for drinks was my favorite, but this is a close second. I love our walks and the conversations we have when we're on these walks.
Exactly, and that's the thing, right? Like, you're getting away from whatever you were doing. It could be either something as basic as walking around your neighborhood, or you can go someplace like a small town and walk around there, grab ice cream while you're at it. But it's really about just spending that quality time together and having some amazing conversations. I feel like some of the best conversations that we've ever had have all come from being on walks.
Yeah, and even Palmer, like our idea of type 1 diabetes and doing clothing for type 1 diabetics and that mission all came about a walk we were on.
Exactly, and it's just nice, like, it's relaxing. You're getting a little bit of exercise in while you're at it, like, I don't know if that just helps get your creativity going while you're walking, but it's just I don't know, it's so nice, especially if you can do it during maybe, like, the evening, especially here in Florida when it gets really hot.
Yeah.
Like, you wanna do it when the sun goes down, but there's this it's basic, right? But at the same time, that is you spending quality time, and it can totally be a date, especially if you're like, "Hey, we're just gonna go on a walk. Let's go grab some ice cream."
Mhm.
And our last one, and I would like to say that I know you said that dinner and drinks was a favorite. No, never mind. It might be going on walks.
Mhm.
She's lying about all of them. This is actually her true favorite. I get where she was coming from, which is spa day.
And can we need to talk about how spa days for us even came about when we first started dating because so we started our first date was in September. And then went straight into Halloween and Nick is a big Halloween guy, loves, decorating, everything about Halloween, he loves it. So, knowing that we live in Orlando, there's Halloween Horror Nights every year and I've gone probably like 3 times before. Again, that's with me living here my entire life. So I remember Nick was like, "Oh, let's go. Do you wanna go to Halloween Horror Nights?" And I'm like, "Sure," but I really didn't want to, but we were, like, so new and we were, like, still getting to know each other. I didn't want to, like, look like some scaredy cat or, like, I know these are things that he enjoys doing, so, like, I feel like I have to do them, right? So, we go to Halloween Horror Nights. It was fine, but he quickly realized how I do not like being scared, and I basically hold on to him. So, I have a routine. So, he goes in front of me, I hold on to like, the back of him, and I close my eyes, and he leads me through the houses. So, yeah, it's probably a waste having me go. Sometimes I open my eyes for certain things, like, some houses are cool looking, and you'll be like, "Open your eyes, make sure your eyes are open," but oh, yes. So then, after the Halloween Horror Nights, you then decided, like, let me just take this girl on every scary activity I can think of for Halloween this year. And we went to the middle of nowhere. We like drove out like an hour and a half to a farm, right? It was a farm. And where they basically transformed their farm into a Halloween maze. And OMG, this was so this is very different than a theme park because theme parks have rules. You can't be touched by the scare actors and there's not much that can happen to you. Yes, they can scare you and come out in front of you, but they can't touch you, right? And like I always know that in the back of my head when I go to these Halloween Horror Nights, like at least they can't touch me type of thing. Well, that was not the same for this farm in the middle of nowhere. And the chainsaws, like they were getting so close to us with chainsaws, like, I thought, like, my head was gonna be taken off. Like, I then there was one point that we were on a truck, remember this? We were, like, all sitting there, and then we just think they're driving us out to the field, but no, in the middle of the drive, scary people are jumping onto the back of the truck with us and, like, scaring us and tickling our feet, like, was it a lot. So now these are 2 events he has taken me to, and I'm just like, "I've had it. I've had it." So next time he asks me like, "What would you like to do for our next date?" And it's still in October. I am like, "You are taking me to a spa day. I have done all these things you have wanted to do. I have literally conquered fears of mine. You are now taking me to a spa." So he did. He took me to a spa, and we had a spa date.
And we did, and it was awesome, and so it's become a thing that we do every once in a while. It is obviously probably the most expensive thing on our list, which is why it is last,
Yeah.
but it's something that we really love, and so this is more of a treat thing, but it's something that it's just been great for us, right? It's something that and it's not just about going and getting a massage, which sometimes that's all it is, but one of my favorite ones is we did a spa day at the Ritz, and with that, you have access to the hotel and their pool and all that other stuff, and so we can kinda turn it into an all-day relaxing thing,
Mhm.
and those things are awesome, right? It's again, you're escaping, talking about loving to go on vacation. You kinda feel like you're on vacation, especially when you do it at a resort and all that, hanging at the pool, grabbing a drink, all those type of things. It's a lot of fun.
I think we have to talk about our spa experience when we went to Mexico.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Which was a spa experience unlike any that I have ever had, and I like my spa days and I like my massages, so I've had a few in my lifetime. But this experience, I have still to this day have never experienced anything like it. So this spa experience in Mexico basically included it was like a two-part thing. And basically the first part of it, there was a little like hot tub type of thing you would call it, right? And there was 2 ladies there. It was a couples massage, so we were in the same room, we were all in the same area. Like, there was some water like, in the description, it said some water aerobic or water type of thing, right? I just took it as we get to sit in the hot tub before we get our massage. Like, isn't that what you thought too?
Yeah, because it said, like, bring your bathing suits, like, before your massage, you're going to have, like, a pool water
Experience. Oh,
experience.
experience. Yes. Okay. So then we get there and, they call us out and then there's like 2 ladies in the little like hot tub thing and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like they're going to join us in this hot tub thing. Like, "All right." No, 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 no. They we had one girl for each of us and they basically started carrying me like a baby. Like I was being rocked like a baby in this water, and then they would, like, take us around in circles and, like, do different things with our necks and, like, our heads, like, in the water, and it's all in this hot tub thing, and, like, I have never so I had so many emotions during this, like, I was laughing, and then I'm like, "OMG, this is the greatest thing I've ever had," and then it, like, literally put me to sleep. Like, they rocked me to sleep,
Yeah.
basically, that I fell asleep for the entire actual body massage part of it when we went in and got on the tables. I fell asleep for the whole body massage that I was snoring so loud that Nick was like, OMG, when we were done, he's like, "You slept that entire time and you were snoring so loud." And I'm like, "I have never been put to sleep like that in my life." Like, I wish I could have these little ladies come to my life every night and rock me to sleep because I could use them.
Yeah, it was crazy. I literally think of it like rocking a baby in a pool, but as grown
And,
adult.
like, holding us, like I mean, they
Yeah.
were, like, floating us, and it was just wow. Like, I literally, when we walked out of there, I was like, "I wish there was, like, a hidden camera somewhere where it could have recorded this," because 1, it was hilarious, and 2nd, like, I just wanna see, like, what techniques they were doing.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was like, you had to have your eyes closed, obviously, for all of it. Because if not I mean, the way they were, like, taking us around the pool, you get dizzy,
Yeah.
like, if you had your eyes open, so our eyes were closed the entire time. I almost at one point was like, "Nick, are you still there?"
Yeah, crazy. So, the last kinda spa thing I wanted to bring up, which was just a really something different that I found a masseuse who actually comes to your house,
Mhm.
and so I surprised Rebecca one day with having this guy come.
Yeah, it was for my birthday. It
He
was amazing.
Yeah, and so he comes to your house, He has all the equipment. He sets up a table wherever you want.
Mhm.
He brings like sound machines and all that type of stuff. And you just want a kind of a darker area. But he first starts out by giving me lessons. So I start out by massaging Rebecca, and he is showing me all the techniques to do that. And it was a really cool experience. And then obviously he'll take over for the second part and give you a full, better professional massage. But it was just a really cool experience
Yeah.
because it was able to kind of connect us in a different way. And now, even to this day, I know more techniques. So if I want to give you a massage at some point, I can do that.
Yeah, or even, like, cause he really worked around, like, the neck and area and even, like, tension headaches, he taught you, like, what to do if I have one, and, like, I always go to Nick now, I'm like, "Oh, my neck, my head's hurting," and, like, he'll give me a little, like, quick little massage, and it helps, so I love that, that was game changer.
For sure. Wow. So, with all those things, hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. Those were our 5 favorite date night ideas. But we just want to really encourage you that self care is so important. And while you need your own personal self care for your marriage is equally as important, if not more. Where if you and your partner or your spouse are not on the same page, not doing well, not taking care of your relationship, it will have a trickle down effect and affect everything else in your life.
Mhm.
So you could be on cloud nine with your self care and doing all these routines, and your marriage is a mess, and it's going to just bring you down.
Yeah. And then also another thing that I wanted to hone in with us having this episode is that our date nights look different and are going to look different than other people. And I just want to welcome the conversation of, you create your ideal date nights with your partner and you come up with ideas. Like it doesn't have to be your stereotypical
Right.
what everyone else is doing. Everyone's life is different. We have kids 50% of the times, the other 50% of the times we don't. Like, you know what I mean? So it just, our lives looks different. So I think it's really encouraging everyone to not just, oh, we have to have this certain date night because this is what makes a good marriage. Like, there's different ways for everyone. So I really encourage everyone to go out there and with their partner and really figure out what works best for them.
Yeah, and we would love to hear from you guys on what is your favorite date night. Have you done something that's awesome, that's kind of unique or out there that is like your own kind of weird date night ideas? We would love to hear from it because we're always looking for new and unique things.
Yeah, and we
Out-
really want to hear from type 1 diabetic parents too, of like that have kids full time. Like, what do you guys do? How do you guys get away? How do you guys manage type 1 diabetes and trying to go out for a date night? So we really want to keep this conversation going, but we appreciate you being here today and we look forward to the next one. Bye, Palmer fam.
Bye.